I'm trying to say, I hate that he said that. I hate that he thought that. But at the same time, I've got this dilemma. It's a tough choice. But at the end of the day, I think what Mike Pence is right. Americans are coming home. They're coming home to the idea that we got to change Washington, D.C. I love the idea of Donald Trump. I love that idea that somebody from the outside is going to come in and look at this and change the way we do business in Washington, D.C. So, I mean, hey, if my endorsement mattered, Mitt Romney would be the President of the United States. If my endorsement really mattered, Marco Rubio would have been our nominee. But I'm going to vote for our nominee. In fact, I did last week, and that is Donald Trump.
I want to move on, but very quickly, what I hear you saying is, and correct me if I'm wrong, the 12 women or so who have come forward and publicly said that Donald Trump did to them what he bragged about doing in that video, you don't believe those women, is that right?
I don't know if they're telling the truth or not telling the truth. You hear the same thing about the Clintons and what Bill Clinton has done. I mean, they're just lining up on that side of the aisle as well. So assume that it's true, and I hope that it's not. I hope that it's not. You're still faced with this dilemma about who should sit in that Oval Office. And I don't trust, and I think the majority of Americans, they don't trust Hillary Clinton. I think she's crooked. I think she's a liar. I think her and her team do everything they can to block the truth and enrich themselves. That's how I see Hillary Clinton, and that's why I would never vote for her for President of the United States.
You told the Washington Post, and I'm quoting now, even before we get to day one, we've got 2 years worth of material already lined up to investigate Hillary Clinton. Are you saying that if she's elected, you're already planning to go after her as president-elect or president of the United States, maybe even for partisan purposes?
No, not for partisan purposes, Wolf. Whether or not Hillary Clinton wins or loses, it doesn't matter. For 4 years, she created one of the biggest messes in the State Department. I think it's one of the biggest breaches of security in the history of the State Department. We still don't have all the documents. You still have people, career people at the State Department saying they were operating a quote-unquote shadow government. You read the FBI report and you see that there was supposedly quid pro quo discussions, all things that we need to have on oversight. They haven't fulfilled the Freedom of Information Act requests, which I have jurisdiction on in the Oversight Committee. I mean, the list just goes on and on. So we have federal records that have been evidently destroyed. I mean, that's what the FBI concluded. And we have the migration of classified information into a non-classified setting. I would be a derelict in my duty if I didn't follow up on that and provide the constitutional responsibility that I have.
But I know you know this as well as anybody knows this. The FBI director cleared her of any criminal wrongdoing. He said she was extremely careless, but he said there was no evidence, not enough evidence certainly, to recommend criminal charges. That's what he said early July. I know you didn't accept that recommendation, but that was the recommendation of the FBI director going forward. But what I hear you saying in this interview with the Washington Post is you're going to spend, if she's elected president, the next 2 years having hearings, investigations on Hillary Clinton. Is that what you're saying?
We have to fix the mess that she created at the State Department. And let's understand that last week the FBI changed that equation. So let me give you an example. The FBI had been giving us the 302s, the so-called investigative summaries of the interviews that they've been doing. But now they won't let us have them because the FBI is telling us this is now a pending matter. Even though they told us in July that it was closed, that they had completed their investigation. Now they're telling us it's an ongoing investigation. So the fact that they reopened the investigation, and that's just about the email situation. You have this whole nother track over here about what was going on in the foundation. And so I didn't create this mess. It was the Inspector General that gave the criminal referral to the FBI. And we have a constitutional duty and responsibility as the tip of the spear on the checks and balances to oversee what is happening in these departments and agencies. Hillary Clinton created this mess. I'm just here to help try to clean it up.
If she's not elected president, are you still going to plan on having 2 years of hearings on her?
Absolutely. Look, I'm guessing how long this is going to take. Look at what we did with the Secret Service. I think Elijah Cummings and I came together in a very bipartisan way. We saw a mess that was happening in the Secret Service. That investigation and that cleanup still continues to this day. I'm going to take that same philosophy and approach, and I would hope that the Democrats would take off their partisan hat and understand you can't have classified information migrating to a non-classified setting. You can't take literally hundreds of thousands of federal records and put them in a different and say we're going to treat these differently. You can't go hire your own personal attorney to determine what's a federal record and what it's not when you're bypassing those that are career employees. And then when you have allegations of a quid pro quo, am I supposed to just ignore that and let it go? No, I'm going to get to the truth of it and fix it so it never happens again.
Well, let me just press you on one point, Congressman. Do you have hard evidence that there was, in fact, classified information from Hillary Clinton's private email server that was found on Anthony Weiner's computer?
No, but we did send a preservation letter because there are numerous now media reports, and if that is the case, if it is there, then we want to make sure that the Department of Justice preserves that information because Congress is also at some point going to want to review it. So no, the only thing I know about the Anthony Weiner situation is what we've seen in the media, not something else that they have given us in any way, shape, or form.